The film begins in the African jungle. We see Gabby and her partner in a river. They are both rangers. They came to the jungle to carry out their mission and must soon leave. Gabby was monitoring the jungle with her drone camera when suddenly it collided with something, causing her drone to fall. Gabby says, "I have to get my drone back. It must have fallen only 2 kilometers away." Although her partner warns her that no one has ever escaped from this jungle, Gabby still decides to go inside. Her partner tells her, "Okay, I'll finish up there and come back. You meet me here in exactly 1 hour." The scene cuts to show 2 men covering the cameras being installed by the military in the jungle. Gabby then arrives at the spot where her drone fell. Down below, she sees a drone's parts lying there, but the drone is missing. We see the drone tied to a girl's waist. Meanwhile, Gabby's partner checks the history of the cameras installed in the military and discovers that they never recorded anything. He discovers that someone had covered the lenses. Whoever did this must have had a dangerous motive. Meanwhile, when Gabby returns, she can't find her partner. Before she can say anything, she hears a strange sound in the forest, which she follows, without realizing how dangerous it could be. A short distance later, her foot hits a rope that turns out to be a trap, and Gabby is badly injured. Gabby was in immense pain. She even tried to call her partner on the radio to summon help, but no one heard her, and then she felt as if someone had run away from her. She mustered up the courage to pull the piece of wood out of her foot and chase after the man, but the pain in her leg prevented her from reaching him. She noticed a red light spreading across the forest, while her companion was now trying to find her. We see Gabby drawn to the red light. From there, some sparks emanate, which Gabby smells, and she appears to be hypnotized. Gabby's companion, who had come into the forest to search for her, also hears the same strange sound Gabby had heard. He is so frightened by the sound that he doesn't look ahead and takes a step forward, falling into the swamp. He sees someone hiding behind a tree. He thinks it might be Gabby, so he starts moving towards the tree, but it doesn't appear to be a human. On the other side, we see Gabby find a cabin in the forest. There's no one inside. After checking the cabin, Gabby collapses in pain and falls asleep, tying her socks to her wound. Meanwhile, Gabby's companion is becoming even more frightened by the sounds. He begins to feel as if someone is hovering around him and suddenly becomes extremely frightened. Gabby also finds herself vomiting, and a mushroom emerges from her vomit. She wakes up in fear, realizing what she saw was a dream. Just then, 2 men arrive. The men aren't frightened by Gabby, but instead, noticing the wound on her leg, they say, "You've ruined our trap." They offer Gabby something to eat and bandage her leg. They ask her, "You're from the city, and what are you doing here?" Gabby replies, "No, we're from the ranger station, and we're doing a routine check." The man, Baron, asks Gabe, "How many rangers are there?" Gabe explains. The scene shifts to Gabe's other companion, who was hiding from the creatures that were chasing him. He felt something approaching him. Terrified, he looked back. There was a humanoid creature with mushrooms growing on its head, walking upside down. The man's gaze was so intense he thought nothing of it and ran away. As night fell, the terrifying sounds of the creatures began to fill the forest. Gabe, confused, asked them what the sounds were. They replied that they were animal sounds. The father and son sat down and began praying strange prayers. They then asked Gabe to eat. But Gabe, she didn't want to eat insects. In another scene, Gabby's companion, who was running away from the creature, encounters the same human-like creature, whose mouth had split open and mushrooms had grown inside. He was terrified and ran in the opposite direction. The creature also screamed loudly, and we saw spurs emerging from its scream. The boy hid behind a large tree, unaware that he was being slowly attacked. The tree's roots and vines attacked him and captured him. In another scene, it was shown that the man had prepared a medicine to bandage Gabby. Strange herbs suddenly began to grow on Gabby's body. Seeing this, Gabby became frightened and fled. She realized it was just a dream and that she had been alone in the cabin all this time. Gabby woke up and tried to contact her partner on the radio. She was also connected to the other end. Her partner simply said his name, didn't answer any of her questions, and was talking nonsense that Gabby couldn't understand. Back at home, Gabby lit a small fire to keep herself warm. Meanwhile, the father and son were shown hunting. After the hunt, Gabby smeared his son's blood on his body, and then they apologized to Mother Nature for killing the prey. We cut to the dead body of Gabby's partner. Herbs and mushrooms were drying up all over his body, just like the ones Gabby had seen growing on his body in her dream. That night, Gabby had another terrifying dream in which she saw plant roots growing into her mouth. Before anything could happen, the man woke Gabby up. He tells her that some creatures are outside their cabin and she must remain absolutely silent as they cannot see and are attracted by their sounds. The cabbie nods, and just then, the creatures break through the door. The two fathers engage in a fight with them. They knock one creature down with an arrow, but another creature then begins to fight Stephen. His father arrives and saves him from the entity and drives it away. Another creature enters. They look around. Gabby and Stephen stand absolutely still. Stephen, accustomed to seeing this, doesn't move at all. That's why the creatures don't recognize him. But Gabby panics and starts moving, attracting the creatures through her movements before the creature can kill her. Stefan sneaks up from behind and stabs the creature in the gut. Then, standing behind him, he extends his hand and stabs the creature in the heart, killing it. The two then beat the other approaching creatures with a large stick, throwing them out and then closing the door. Stefan notices that Gabby has creature blood on her body. He quickly strips Gabby of her clothes and begins cleaning her entire body. Gabby's condition worsens, and she falls unconscious. Stephen's father sees that he too was injured in the fight. When Gabby regains consciousness, the man tells her that these creatures are humanoid fungi. He explains that they attack humans and survive through their bodies. He tells Gabby that these creatures are thousands of years older than humans and that they outnumber all other organisms on Earth. They used to live in hiding, but now they've come out and are ready to make everyone like them. The cabbie can't believe his words. Bennett says that humans are inherently stupid, and you're one of them. Everyone goes to sleep tonight, and Gabby has another terrifying dream. She's standing in front of a huge tree in the middle of the forest. Suddenly, someone touches her from behind, and the fungus attacks her neck. Gabby wakes up in fear. She sees Stephen sitting with her all this time, so she relaxes. She starts talking to Stephen, shows him her phone, and they take pictures together. Stephen is utterly astonished by the phone, but then, suddenly, her dad comes and snatches it from her hand and throws it away. He tells Stefan that Gabby is a monster. She will endanger you, and stay away from him. The two leave the cabin, and while Gabby is gathering the pieces of her broken phone, she finds a book under the bed that Stephen's dad was writing. Back in the woods, we're shown the man standing in front of the same tree that appeared in Gabby's dream. He donates a little of his blood to the tree and sees small mushrooms growing inside. A strange light emanates from the tree and some sparks fly, as if the inside of the tree is a separate world. He reaches inside the tree and plucks 2 mushrooms. He eats one himself and feeds one to his son. When they return, they find Gabby reading the book he wrote. They also notice that the infection has spread throughout Gabby's body. The mushrooms are drying up, just like the ones he saw in his dream. Seeing this, Gabby panics and tries to clean the mushrooms growing on her body with her hands. Knowing that Gabby is infected, they immediately tell her to run away. Stephen doesn't like his father's decision, but he remains silent. Before leaving, Stephen is deeply worried about her. He even licks her hand to remove the infection and then hugs her tensely. Just then, Stephen's father comes in and says it's time to leave. They go to escort her out of the forest. While walking through the forest, they hear strange noises, so they follow them. Passing by a tree, she removes the memory card from one of the military's cameras. A short distance later, she discovers the body of her companion, whose entire body is now covered in mushrooms. When Gabby approaches and tries to touch it, Gabby realizes that her companion is still alive. His companion cries and begs him, "Please kill me. I don't want to live with this." But Gabby tells him, "No, I'll rescue you from here. We'll go to the hospital. You'll be fine." While they're talking, Baron tries to stab him from behind, knowing the infection can't be cured, but Gabby stops him and asks, "Is there any other way to fix this?" Baron silently hands the man his arrow, and the man stabs himself in the mouth, taking his own life. Gabby is devastated by the sight of her companion's death before her eyes. Her cries attract numerous creatures, and Baron immediately tells Gabby to flee for her own life. Upon reaching the cabin, the men awaken Stefan, and Stefan is overjoyed to see Gabby back. Baron panics and closes all the doors and windows as the creatures are still approaching their cabin. Night falls, and we see Gabby wake up in fear and discover that small mushrooms and fungus have indeed begun to grow on her body. She tells Baron, "I know you have some medicine that keeps you from contracting this infection." Baron doesn't answer her and leaves. Gabby asks Stefan, "Where's your dad at this time?" He tells her he's gone to pray. Gabby begins talking to Stefan, and she asks him, "Where's your mom?" Stefan tells her his mom is in the woods. Gabby finds this strange. She doesn't understand what Stefan is saying. The boy says, "I'll show you." They talk, and Gabby persuades Stefan to come with him to the outside world. "I'll make you a ranger, and life there will be much better than here." Stephen tells him, "No, I won't go because my dad says we'll all die one day, and that day will come very soon." The scene cuts to Stephen's dad, who is praying for him in front of a tree. Suddenly, a red light appears behind the tree, and he panics and returns home. Even when he returns home, his face is pale, and he looks terrified. The next morning, the man takes Stephen to the tree and performs his usual ritual. He puts a few drops of his blood into the tree, picks up a mushroom, eats one himself, and gives one to his son. He feeds her. Meanwhile, when Gabby wakes up, they find that the infection has spread rapidly and that many mushrooms and other things have grown on her. Baron and Stephen begin heading home. Baron notices that Stephen was running very fast today. As soon as he arrives, he quickly kisses Gabby. He was actually holding the mushroom in his mouth, the one his father gave him. Gabby realizes that it's the medicine that prevents the infection from spreading. She eats it, and just then, Baron arrives. Baron understands everything, but he doesn't say anything to them and tells Gabby that it's time to leave. When Gabby notices that the mushroom has worked and her infection has completely subsided, she tells him that she wants to stay. Gabby made this decision to heal herself, knowing that there's no cure for this disease in the city. Stephen is delighted with this news and begins teaching Gabby how to survive in the wild. He teaches her how to hunt and even how to shoot. Many days pass, and the two spend quality time together. He even takes Gabby to the tree their men used to worship. Gabby is amazed to discover it was the same tree she saw in her dream. Returning home, Gabby tells the men, "I want to be a part of their religion." Hearing this, the Baron is initially enraged, but then he agrees. That night, the father and son sit together and prepare for a ritual. They first apply the blood of an animal to Gabby's face, and then the Baron blows a trail of something onto Gabby's face. As soon as this happens, Gabby appears to be transported to another world. She finds herself lying near a lake, naked. Suddenly, they see a boy emerge from the river behind them. This boy was Stefan, and this time, he was also naked. They spend some time together, and suddenly Gabby is transported to another world. She finds herself in front of the same tree she saw in the forest, and in front of this tree, she experiences a series of strange visions. She sees that someone has shot an arrow into Stefan's mouth, killing him, and Gabby's own life is in danger. Frightened, she becomes upset and sees the father and son sitting next to her, asking her what she saw in her dream. Before she can explain, she suddenly regains consciousness and realizes that the previous scene was also part of her dream. When she regains consciousness, they ask her the same questions. What happened to you? And Where were you at that time? The cabbie explains, I was in a dream world, and I felt like I'd spent months there. But Baron tells her, you've only been unconscious for the last 4 hours. She explains that she saw the tree talking in her dream. The tree is a monster, Baron says. So what does the tree want? The cabbie explains, it wants your son's life. It wants his sacrifice. Baron is terrified and immediately goes to the tree and prays to it, begging for forgiveness. Time passes, and we see Gabby and Stephen's friendship grow even stronger. They play and laugh together, while Baron is confused because he has a big decision to make. The next morning before sunrise, Baron goes to pray to the tree, and at the same time, Gabby and Stephen begin preparing to escape from the hut, a plan they had already made before they left. Baron appears before them and asks his son, what's missing? Why do you want to leave me? When I've protected you your whole life. I've raised you as both your mother and father. In the world you're about to enter, you'll be part of a race. You'll find nothing without purpose, without profit, and you'll get used to those things. That world isn't right for you. Despite all this, Stephen still wants to go with Gabby. But finally, Baron starts blackmailing him, saying, okay, go. You want to go too, right? First, your mom left me, and now you should too. Stephen's words make him emotional, and he decides to stay with his dad. During their conversation, Gabby says, I know you killed your wife, the man says, but she decided to take her own life because she wanted her son to live. The father and son head home, and Gabby continues on her way. After a long walk, she feels something strange and tries to run back to their cabin. Baron takes Stephen and starts walking toward the tree. Stephen asks, Dad, where are we going? Baron tells him, we're going to make a sacrifice. When Gabby returns to the cabin, she finds no one there. She picks up her bow and arrow, which Stephen had made for her. On the way, Stephen asks Baron, what will you sacrifice? We don't have anything. Baron tells her, don't worry, God will give us something to sacrifice. We see Gabby chasing after the two, having understood what's happening. On the way, Gabby encounters a humanoid fungus which notices Gabby's movements, and Gabby, seeing it, hides behind a tree. Upon reaching the tree, the Baron finally tells his son, God has chosen you for sacrifice. He attacks him in the waist, and Stephen falls to save himself. Gabby, who was trying to reach Flor and Stephen, first shoots the humanoid fungus with an arrow, killing it, and then resumes her journey towards the tree. Stephen tries to escape for his life, but the Baron has forcibly held him, and the tree's roots are now binding his hands. Gabby arrives just in time, but is unable to reach Stephen because the tree's branches trap him. Gabby frees herself from the branches and quickly shoots an arrow at Baron. The Baron isn't seriously injured, but instead attacks Gabby. Gabby falls unconscious, and before Baron can fully kill Gabby, Stephen attacks his own father from behind to save her. A humanoid fungus has now appeared over Gabby's mouth and is about to attack her when Stephen reappears and saves Gabby. While Stephen is fighting the humanoid fungus, Baron drags Gabby away by her hair. Laying Gabby down against a tree, he's about to attack her with an axe when someone attacks him from behind. Flashbacks show scenes from a few minutes earlier where Stephen bravely fights off the creatures, successfully killing them, and then runs to Gabby. He sees his father about to kill Gabe, so he immediately attacks his father from behind with his arrow. Farron is weakened by the attack and falls down, this time again, trying to manipulate his son. He says, I was just testing it. But then Gabe sees more creatures approaching from behind. She tells Stefan to escape as quickly as possible, and they leave Baron to die. They both return to the cabin, and while Gabe is bathing, she again experiences a vision of the same creatures, the same organisms, connecting with her body. Horrified, she regains consciousness and begins reading Baron's book, which he had written about these mushrooms. Meanwhile, we see Baron, now infected himself, and large mushrooms are rapidly growing on his body. At this point, he apologizes to Stree and says, I will do whatever you say. Please give me a chance." But now the tree refuses to listen to him, and we learn that it was actually his wife who had transformed into this giant creature 13 years ago. Today, his wife refuses to give him the mushrooms that could have controlled the infection, and thus, Benon becomes completely infected and transforms into a humanoid creature. The scene cuts to Gabby inside the house, whose entire body has also been transformed into fungus. The infection has spread rapidly throughout her body, and she is slowly dying. Before dying, Gabby tells Stefan to go to the other world, but Stefan refuses to leave her. A few days pass, and the infection grows so severe that Gabby's survival is at stake. Even this becomes difficult, and to relieve her pain, she asks Stephen to kill her. Seeing her pain, Stephen is ultimately forced to kill her. With his hand on his heart, he stabs her with his knife, leaving her alone in this jungle world. He knew he couldn't live alone there, therefore he decides to go to the outside world. In the movie's post-credits scene, we see Stephen eating at a hotel. The food he leaves behind is immediately infected. This means he too was infected, and the movie ends with this.